We got 3 players from Concacaf that'll be in Serie A next season. At least we're assuming as of right now they'll be in Serie A next season. And we want to get your predictions on what their next campaigns will look like. So I'm going to give you the 3 and then you run through them. We got Chucky Lozano at Napoli. We got Weston McKennie at Juventus. And we got Bryan Reynolds under Jose Mourinho at Roma. Let's start with Chucky.
So Chucky Lozano, I think, is going to have the best season out of the 3 names that you mentioned. I love that he's playing under an attack-minded manager like Spalletti. I think about a dozen goals, a dozen assists. He's going to be starting on that right-hand side, cutting in like we saw, plenty of pace, plenty of work rate. And with the players like Insigne and Mertens aging, that's the future of Napoli on the wings.
Well, you got a goals and assists for us? What do you think? Double digits?
I'm thinking like 12 to 15 goals, 10 to 12 assists. He's going to be in the double digits in both categories, and we really saw him taking off under Gennaro Gattuso. I still feel bad that Napoli got rid of Gattuso. He brought the best out of Lozano. He said that he needed to toughen up in practice, and he showed him the way. He showed him the ropes, and apparently in training he was way better. He was more of a professional. He really worked harder, and that's what led to him finally getting on the team and living up to the price tag, because at the time, when they signed him last summer, he was the most expensive signing in Napoli history. And just think of the great players that Napoli have had in the last few decades, starting with a guy named Diego Maradona.
Hey, what about Weston McKennie?
So Weston McKennie, I think a role player, rotational. I'm really curious to see who Juventus bring in, right? Because the biggest talk has been they need to upgrade that midfield. And Weston McKennie coming in, you know, he'll give you the box-to-box. He, I think, really impressed people with what he did going forward. But there was talks that maybe behind the scenes, especially at the beginning of last season, he wasn't as professional as maybe Andrea Pirlo would have liked. Now we have a new manager, Max Allegri, and we know that he likes those midfielders that work hard, that run plenty off the ball. So I think he's going to be a role, but I don't think he's going to be one of the most important players in the team.
All right, so the next one is the one I'm very, very interested in. Bryan Reynolds at Roma, primarily because he's going to be managed by the guy on Herc's shirt, Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one, right? Because Bryan Reynolds, known for what he does getting forward, and fullbacks, especially under Mourinho in Serie A, and you have to go back to Inter, he's probably going to have a slightly more defensive role than what he would have had under Paulo Fonseca. He hardly played in the second half of last season, but he's a player who's coming in where there's Alessandro Florenzi, who's now apparently going to get sold maybe to Inter. He was the right back. And then on the other side, Leo Spinazzola is going to be out for a very long time because of that Achilles injury. So I think Bryan Reynolds is going to get time, but it remains to be seen if he's actually going to be given that sort of responsibility under Jose Mourinho, or if they're going to go for a more veteran approach in that right back spot. But again, it's all about what they do with Florenzi, who would probably be the starter there.
Seb, all I got to say is if Chucky Lozano scores 12 to 15 goals next year and puts up a dozen assists, he's going to be Premier League bound. We're talking about the biggest club in the world, biggest clubs, I should say, looking for his services if he does that. That's an astronomical, that's insane tally that Matteo thinks he can get to.
I love it. I love it, Mexican national fans.
What he actually had last season. Come on, Herc.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.